Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another interview. My guest today is an actor and they've appeared in things such as Glee and Night at the Museum. Today they're going to be coming on and telling us more about themselves, more about their career, and maybe some stories too. So today Patrick Gallagher will be joining me, and let's find out more about himself.
Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Patrick Gallagher. I'm an actor. You might have seen me in the Night at the Museum movies as Attila the Hun. I was in Glee, recently Koten Khan in the video game Ghost of Tsushima, and currently recurring on the ABC show Big Sky. Hope everyone's doing well.
Thank you so much for coming, Patrick. So today I'm interviewing you and I've got 10 questions based on your acting career. So my first question for you is, when did you first get into the acting industry?
Well, I started to go to theater school out here in Vancouver in 1988, mainly just to get my highly educated family off my butt. So I auditioned for a community college theater program just so I could tell people I was going to theater school. And then I really, really fell in love with it. Luckily got into National Theater School in 1990, graduated in 1993, and went from there. But I've always enjoyed it. My father was a Shakespeare Chaucer professor. My mother was a teacher. So we've had an artsy family.
Yeah, that's great that your family was kind of artsy and it's great that you got into it too. So my second question is, what was the audition process like for the Night at the Museum?
Well, that was an interesting one because I was living in Los Angeles at the time, but I was up in Vancouver shooting something. And originally he spoke English. So there were lines, I believe there was something like, "Go get me Doom." So I put that on in the original audition in Los Angeles, was up in Vancouver for the callback. And the director, Sean Levy, was up here. And I did the audition again with the written lines. And then he said something like, "Well, we have this idea about maybe not speaking English and it hard to explain, might make up a language." And I said, "You want Evil Asian Dictator circa 1250 language?" And he went, "Yep." And I just made it up on the spot and somehow got the job. So
Yeah, that's
that was it.
fantastic. Yeah, how fantastic. That's really great. Did you know anybody who was at the audition, or was it kind of just something you did by yourself?
Well, you usually go in to the room by yourself. But it's especially in Vancouver, the community is small. So I knew a lot of people that were auditioning for it. And somehow I was very lucky and lucky enough to get the job.
Yeah, it's fantastic, obviously, that you got the job because the Night at the Museum turned out to be such a huge thing. So obviously they did three movies, which was fantastic. So
Yeah, it was amazing. It was an incredible experience. It really was. I learned a lot because a lot of what you saw in the first one, the part was barely written. All of that we just kept adding, and they kept adding more and more stuff. So it was really interesting. It was really great, and I learned so much with all those amazing actors around. Excuse me, Robin Williams and Ben Stiller and Ricky Gervais. You just sit back and watch and learn, and it was an amazing experience.
yeah, and it's great that you got to be part of it too. So my next question is, do you have any advice to people who want to get into acting?
Yeah, just believe in yourself and go to school if you can and get as much education as you can. Take classes. I still take classes. We have a very we have a very specific skill set, and the more you can learn, the better. I mean, you're going to come across things you can't do or you're not really great at, and that's what class is for. That's a great way to sort of work on things that might be a weakness, and just believe in yourself. The other thing I would say is you got to really love it because it can be a tough life. You're going to get a lot of rejection. Don't take it personally. Um, and I would also say, think of the long game. I remember being 21, 22, 23, thinking, I'm running out of time. I need to get some success now. And you realize later on how much time we actually have, that this is a long game and you have your whole life to do it.
Yeah, 100%. I think that advice is really great, and I hope lots of people can feel inspired by it. So my next
Mhm.
question is, you played Ken Tanaka, if I pronounced that right, in the TV show Glee. What was that like?
Tan- Tanaka. Well, that was a great
Tanaka, yeah.
experience. I mean, that show, I think it's hard for people now to realize how groundbreaking that show was. And at the time we shot it, nobody knew how people were going to respond to it. It was so different with the singing and the tone. Ken was such an interesting character. It was a lot of fun. I brought the fanny pack in myself, mainly because I needed somewhere to keep my candy and my sides and stuff. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. I can't believe how long ago it was, actually.
Yeah, well, Glee does sound like it was an amazing experience. So my next question is about something you've done quite recently, and it is last Christmas you appeared as a security guard in the Christmas Chronicles 2. What was that like?
Well, that was really fun because that was all the producers of Night at Museum, and Christopher Columbus, who one of the producers of Night Museum, was directing it. And he was a great director. It was just a lot of fun to play a part like that. Again, I got to come home to Vancouver, which is where I grew up. And those kind of movies, when you watch it, it just has this nice feeling to it. And that's how it feels to shoot those movies. It's just fun and kind of feels nice. And it was I really enjoyed that experience, actually.
Yeah, it did sound like an amazing experience again. And I know Christmas Chronicles, again, it turned out to be something huge. And I think it's definitely going to be a really good Christmas movie to watch each year. So it's great that you got to be part of that. So
yeah, it's always nice to be part of a Christmas movie. So
yeah, 100%. So my next question is, have you always wanted to be an actor?
yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't think about it seriously till I got to be in my teen years. I wanted to be a marine biologist for a while. I really wanted to be a marine biologist until I watched Jaws. I also wanted to be a reporter, but I've always loved it. It never feels like work, even though it can be really hard work. To me, it's always fun, and it's such a blessing to be able to make a living at it. So
yeah, well, it's great.
If you can, I was going to say, if you can find something that doesn't feel like work to do that for your career, then I think you've found something pretty good.
You're 100%. And like you said, obviously you find it fun. And I think as long as you're enjoying yourself and as long as you're having fun, that's kind of all that matters, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to be enthusiastic and commit to something for years and years if you're not enjoying it. And if you can find something you'd love to be your career, well, to me, that's what it's all about. So.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So my next question is, in 2019, you appeared in Captain Marvel. What was that like?
Oh, that was fun for me. It was a small part, and I told my agents, I don't care how small it is. I love those Marvel movies. I've probably seen Endgame 5 times. I love those movies. I just wanted to be part of it. I got to work with Samuel Jackson and Brie Larson. It was great. It was kind of a bucket list thing for me to just be able to go. I get to be in a Marvel movie. It was really fun. I loved it. It was quick. I wasn't on set very long, but it was great.
Yeah, it does sound great. And obviously Marvel, again, is a very kind of traditional thing that was huge because obviously the Marvel series is they're an international success. So it's, again, great that you got to be part of that too. So my next question...
I'm a Marvel geek. I'll admit it. I love those things.
Amazing. And yeah, I'm really happy for you that you got to be part of that. So my next question
Thank you.
Also in 2019, you appeared in American Princess. What was it like being on that TV show?
Well, that was fun because that was a huge character. In terms, I could just play him really big. He was really out there. I got to butcher all kinds of British accents because we were supposed to have fake accents. So that was kind of fun. And that was another really fun set. It was comedy with some heart to it. Great people. I was really sad to see that one didn't get picked up because it would have been nice to have done more. That was a really good show. I think if people are looking for something, I know that people are looking for things to watch because we've all been, trapped inside our houses this year. I think people should give that a look because that was a series that just kind of went under the radar, unfortunately, that I think people would really enjoy.
Yeah, well, 100%. If people are looking for something to watch, then yeah, go and watch it. Do you know what sites these are on, just so people can go and watch it straight away?
I don't know. There's so many sites now. It could be Tubi, could be Hulu. I think if you just Google it or whatever, Apple TV or Roku or Fire, if you just look for it, you'll find it. I mean, I got to play a guy who was a drunkard, which is always fun because, you get to do broad comedy and you know, the cast was, the directors and writers were really open to new ideas. So that was great. So I think, yeah, just you should be able to find it somewhere. Originally, it was on the Movie Network, I believe. I can't remember,
Hmm.
or
Okay, yeah. Well,
Hallmark or something like that. So
yeah, I'm sure people will find it somewhere. So yeah, everybody go and watch that. It'll be something cool to kind of look through in quarantine. So my next one,
absolutely.
yeah, 100%. So my next question is, what has been the best moment in your acting career so far, if you can pick?
Wow, that's a tough one. Um, hmm. I don't know if I could pick a moment. I know that being able to work with Robin Williams and having him laugh at something I did was pretty impressive. That was a pretty moving thing for me. At making Ricky Gervais laugh, I really dug that. That was fun. Um, you know, I guess there was a moment in the last Night at Museum, in Night at Museum 3, and we all had our goodbye scenes with the characters. And, you know, they had written Attila Says Goodbye, and we were going to do the whole kind of rough, big gibberish language thing. And we talked about it early in the movie, and I could kind of sense that Sean was thinking about maybe we don't need it, and you know, do we want to keep doing the same thing? And I was wondering, you know, how do I want to do this? And I remember the day before we did it, he wanted to talk about it, and I was going, I think he's going to try to say he doesn't need it. And I said, I have an idea. And he said, what? I said, I think he speaks one word of English, and I think he goes. And that's when I went to Ben and I went, my friend. And this was near the end, and we'd all done 3 movies together, and it was near the end of filming this. And I did that scene, and we shot it, and it was quite beautiful. And Sean Levy, the director, came out with tears in his eyes, and he had been moved by it. And I think it sort of encapsulated that feeling of this great experience we had. So that was a pretty big moment to make a director feel something with something you've done. So that was a nice moment.
Yeah, that does sound like a nice moment. And now you're saying it, I can remember that scene. And I think it was a kind of a good way for kind of you to say goodbye, to show that you really like respected, obviously, Ben, who played the main character. And I think it was really good that that scene happened, really. So,
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of like us saying goodbye to this franchise and goodbye to this experience, and you know, that's what I was feeling when we did it, and I think that's what he kind of felt, and we all felt. You know, it was an amazing experience.
yeah, 100%. So I have one more question for you. And this question is it's quite a super fun one. And it's my favorite one to kind of wrap everything up. And it is, do you have any acting stories?
Oh, geez, I got a lot of acting stories. I don't know how many of them I can tell you. You know what? Here's another one. This was another Night Museum story, and I remember, and the first one, I didn't really know what I was doing. We had this making up this language thing was all new. There were all these huge stars on it. Um, the character wasn't really that written, and I was really, really nervous and kind of. Let's be honest, I was a little bit scared. You know, I'm looking at Rob Williams and Ben Stiller and Ricky Gervais and Dick Van Dyke, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. This was a long time ago, and I started just making the language up and started to sort of just challenge myself to conquer fear, which I think is the main thing an actor has to do. And I remember doing a scene, doing something, taking a chance, and Robin Williams came up to me and he went, "That was really funny." And I know he did it on purpose because I know that he could sense that I was nervous, and I know that he knew that if he said something like that, it would give me confidence, which it did. And I've never forgotten that because he was an amazing, amazing person. Not just an amazing artist, but an amazing person. And I know that he did that on purpose, and that's always meant something to me.
Oh yeah, that's really
So
kind of him, obviously, to kind of help your confidence with it and everything. So just kind of, I think it's great because it seemed like the Night at the Museum cast seemed to be such a close cast on camera and off camera. So it's great that you all kind of did that, and it's nice to like.
yeah, yeah, and he was so generous, you know. And also the other one, I remember we were in the British Museum on the third one, and I had jet lag and I just couldn't sleep, and I just couldn't sleep properly. And when we were outside, it was fine because it was cold, and the cold kept me awake, and I had this really hot costume. But inside the British Museum on like the third day, I was not doing very well from lack of sleep and heat. And Robin Williams came up to me and asked me how I was doing. And I said, I'm not, I think he could tell that I was really tired. And I said, well, I'm a little tired. And, I don't like being in here because at least when I was outside, I could smoke whenever I wanted. And he went on this improv 10-minute riff about electronic cigarettes and just did that. And I remember sitting there going, people pay hundreds of dollars to see this genius do his thing. And he just made us laugh just out of nowhere for 5 or 10 minutes. And you could just get a glimpse of what his real genius was there. And that was something I've never forgotten either, was being part of that.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, thank you again for sharing all of those stories. I think obviously all of your fans and like the Night at the Museum fans are going to love hearing about those behind the scenes stuff. So thank you so much for sharing them.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I hope I answered your questions properly.
Yeah, you did fantastically. And yeah, I am super grateful for you.
Okay, good.
And
good,
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And also thank you to everybody who watched this video. I hope you all enjoyed the interview and I'll see you next week for another one. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Amazing.